Dear unappreciative moviegoers, I don't take you to a movie I'm interested in seeing so you can watch it ironically on my dollar. Have you guys seen Pitch Perfect 2? It's a really good movie. I liked the first one an acceptable amount, nothing special, but I was interested in how they'd be able to top themselves, so I went to see it with a friend who I thought was genuinely excited to see it, like I was. But it turns out she thought the first one was meh, and she did not have the appropriate mindset to actually properly enjoy a cinematic tale. She also brought a like-minded friend along of her own, who was equally daft and equally fucking aggravating. The way I differ from most of my friends is that I recognize the integrity of movies as an art form, and that perspective stays in the forefront of my mind while my eyes soak in the picture and my ears absorb the sound. The wrong way to consume something you watch in a theater is to view it as nothing more than a transaction of money for entertainment. When film becomes a commodity judged only by a laundry list of factors that must all be checked off to hold any intrinsic value, that's when the movie-going society can royally fuck off. I take that back. Not royally, peasantly. Peasantly like a fucking peasant. So as I'm watching what I think is a good movie, and forming an emotional connection with said movie due to some choice musical performances that really hit me in the right spots, I'm blissfully unaware that there are two steaming piles of apathy filling in the seats next to me. Let me inform everyone listening so far that I am aware that it is totally okay to not like certain movies. What's not okay is bringing down the experience of those around you by purchasing a ticket and then dunking it in a tank of disrespect. Who goes to Comic-Con just so they can quietly judge everyone there as faggots and morons? If you aren't into it, don't watch it. If you don't think you're gonna like it, don't watch it. Especially don't see it in a theater. 6 months from now, it'll be on Redbox for $2. Once that happens, feel absolutely free to rent it for yourself and watch it with a bad attitude in the seclusion of your TV room where you can't hurt anybody else. Now yes, my friends sat through a movie they didn't like, but as long as they kept it to themselves, there's no problem, right? Theoretically, yes. Too bad that's not what happened. Credits roll, we get up and start to walk out the door, with me thinking that everyone else here has just had the same positive movie experience I just had. I mean, we saw the same things. A $20 bill isn't worth less depending on who's looking at it. And as we get out the door, the friend that my friend brought along exclaims, "Well, that was mediocre." That supremely unexpected comment hit me with such force that I altered my walk for a second and had to readjust the positioning of my legs. There were so many things I had to comprehend on the fly, such as, first of all, fuck you, you're wrong. Second of all, there are other people even besides me walking out of this theater, perhaps having enjoyed themselves, and you're just gonna put that middle finger of a declaration out there for everyone to get pissed off at? Save it for your blog and exit the establishment quietly, you loudmouthed cunt. I have never been more sure that I've used that word in a circumstance where it's necessary. I mean, what a way to completely devalidate, I know that isn't a real word, but it should be, devalidate everyone else's good time. What an indictment directed at a studio and production team of hundreds of individuals working tirelessly for months and spending millions of dollars to bring you an escape from your boring-ass life for 2 hours. And what a bitch. So I was shocked as my friend echoed her sentiment, and I'm incredulously like, "You didn't like it?" And then the cunt says, "It had no story, and there was barely any singing." I have never heard a more wrong sentence cobbled together out of a group of wrong words. First off, a movie can't not have a story. Even porn has a story, even when they don't try to do a story. Stories have beginnings, middles, and ends. The story of all porn is, these two or more people are about to have sex. Beginning. These two or more people are having sex. Middle. These two or more people are done having sex. End. It's concise, but it still follows a narrative of the passage of time. That's a story. Saying a movie has no story is like saying a book doesn't have any words on the pages. That's all books have. Unless they have pictures, but those books are for special ed classes. I find myself constantly getting pissed off at people who don't appreciate movies because it's a medium I have deep respect for. And when something brings joy to my life, it frustrates and saddens me when it can't do the same for others. Like many issues that plague the consciousness of humanity, it's not something that can ever be fixed, but as long as there are people who become my problem, I will perpetually reserve the right to hate them to their core. Now at the time, in lieu of having just heard something I couldn't disagree with more, I was caught off guard and forgot that you aren't supposed to call people you haven't formally met retarded. Especially when they're Bible thumpers with whatever the opposite of thick skin is. Thin skin. That was quite a leap. To her credit, I think she was too taken aback to actually respond in a way that would escalate into a confrontation. But while she drove home in a separate car, I was thoroughly chewed out by my friend. And I felt bad because it had slipped out and I didn't have much control over what I was saying. Rest assured that if I could go back and correct my mistake, I would have insulted her in a much funnier way. So there aren't any actual facts. This rant turned out to be super long and I feel as though it can sustain itself, so I wanted to dedicate the video to it. But if it makes you feel better, just imagine that somebody asked me what the last movie I saw was, and then other people asked me a bunch of subsequent questions in perfect order about the events surrounding that movie. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.